1,000 bricks, and it looked as
You're right.
bulky as you can imagine.
And it was 1 million bricks as well.
If I could give you a classic canal story, an abandoned canal with the typical canal mania, early years of trouble and toil, and of course a classic canal with regards to lots to see. Welcome to the abandoned Leominster Canal.
That's Leominster.
Ah, Steve's there too.
Hello.
So let's crack on with this week's adventure, and it's one that I'm really quite excited to bring you. I feel like I haven't done one of these adventures in quite some time. So we're going to be on the abandoned Leominster Canal, and we're going to try and see as much as we can in one day. Where are we exactly? Well, the Leominster Canal was over here on the Herefordshire and Shropshire borders. Now we're going to be starting on the eastern side of the bit that was constructed, and we're going to be using Rail Map Online, the canal section, annotated by Chris Lowe. Thanks, Chris. On with the adventure over to the eastern side of Southnet Tunnel. Right, so we're lurking around where we think one of the tunnel portals is. That's going to be in a separate video. Now, the reason we're starting this video here is because by and large this is the easternmost point of the main line of the canal, to the extent that it was built. So we're stood somewhere on top of a tunnel right now, which we're trying to find, but this is the start of today's journey. So we spent an hour and a half here looking for this tunnel portal, and in the end we found it completely by accident. Here's a view from above. Can you see it? But for the meantime, let's head west and explore the rest of the infrastructure and the story of this canal. It really holds a few gems. So the year is 1772, and the Staffordshire and Worcestershire Canal has made it out of Birmingham and down to the 7 early canal days, but shown what can be done. And the good people of Leominster? Leominster, yeah, Leominster. Leominster. The good people of Leominster and Knighton wanted a piece of the action. So 1789, Thomas Dadford Jr. was commissioned to survey the route. Now, he came up with a 31-mile route. £81,000 I think was the initial cost to build it, and the return on that was only going to be £4,000 a year. They went ahead, planned extension to not Knighton, Kington, yeah. Kington, and I kind of guess that just makes me think, well, at that time canals were going to be the future, and I guess you think like where we are now, what technologies we've got, and we think, right, that's it. For them, where the canals, that was it. Canals had changed in the world. You've seen what it did to the Industrial Revolution up towards Birmingham in the north, and there's no reason why it couldn't change their lives here. But there are little aspects which creep in where, for example, that end of it, there was many people saying you need to use tramways. And when we drove in this way this morning, you look at the landscape and you think, crikey.
It's crazy when you drive through, you feel the hills as you're coming through.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's up and down everywhere.
We spent a little bit of time along this stretch looking for some of the old locks, but all we found were indents in the cut where they probably used to be but were now filled in.
And yeah, we're going to head that way down right on the canal towpath. It looks nasty.
So we moved on knowing we had a big treat or two ahead of us in the aqueducts. We just had to find them. That wasn't an easy task.
Ladies and gentlemen, pathways in the United Kingdom look a bit like this. So Steve and I think we've got about a kilometre to go to the aqueducts. We're really keen to show you the first of two. We've got the canal bed just there, and we've got this ridiculous pathway. It is a pathway, it is a right of way, but we, as Steve just said, we need to go into the canal now again.
So we did get back in the canal, and one of the things we found pretty soon after was a huge hole in the side of the cut. Presumably this part was blown out here to drain the canal into the Malbrook after the canal was abandoned. So 1791, Thomas Dadford Jr. is appointed contractor for the canal. But the issue we have is he's already working on the Monmouthshire Canal. So the shareholders have both agreed to a 75% time at Monmouthshire, 25% here at Leominster. And perhaps that uneven timeshare gives us our first clue as to why this canal never fulfilled its potential. Onwards to the aqueducts, I promise.
This has been a killer. We reckon 50 metres or so to go according to the map, maybe less, because the landscape's changing here quite a bit. Hills come down here, which indicates there is going to be a river below us. What a journey this has been. We're not even 12 o'clock in the day and I am shattered. The best bit of pathway today, ironically, is on top of the aqueduct, which has collapsed. So there has been a recent collapse, hence the pathway is closed. That whole side of the aqueduct is gone. There's a fence hanging in the breeze just there. And Steve and I are on top of the aqueduct, well-trodden pathway, which is ridiculous. But the pathway across here is, shouldn't tread on it, shouldn't walk across it for safety, obviously, but me and Steve, we're hard as nails.
In the war, this was drilled out, because they planned to blow this as part of the stopline exercises, but they never did.
And even here, quite a distance away from the main aqueduct top part there, you've got the parapet walls here. And it's about 6 or 7 bricks thick. Now bear in mind, some of the tunnels they built weren't that thick. Well, Thomas Dadford was reputed, or Thomas Dadford Jr. was reputed to be, well, if the right word is taking shortcuts or not really giving it his full attention. There wasn't always engineers on site, and therefore at some point in the next few years John Rennie would be called in to make an assessment himself. Wow, look at that. 1794, 3 years, they had a section of this canal opened from the South Net Tunnel all the way down to Leominster. And that was it. That was perfect for them because they could transport coal. They had a series of tramways to the east of South Net Tunnel, but they needed more. Now, as they were constructing the South Net Tunnel, within about a year, there was a collapse. And it's reputed to have killed 2 of the boatmen along there as it collapsed in on them. Might even still be there to this day. But for now, we'll just stand in awe of this amazing structure that's half collapsed, half spooled, but still as a testament to 235-year-old canal engineering. Shouldn't really cross it because the footpath's closed, but you'd hope something might be able to be fixed. And you can see all the masonry actually, and a beautiful picture through the woods ahead of me with the canal cut out and the towpath on the left. Onwards to, no idea where, another aqueduct I think. I was just walking along this beautiful bit of abandoned canal. The whole section through there is absolutely gorgeous, largely because right down there we've got a huge, say, valley or brook or something, probably 10-20 metres down there. And it shows you the engineering leading up to this, the aqueduct that we've just been on, this huge embankment, vast, great piece of engineering. And right ahead of us, we've got probably the ultimate demise of many canals in this country. Certainly this one. We're just about to cross a railway. I can't remember which it was because I've done no research on the railway, Steve.
Hereford and Shrewsbury.
Hereford and Shrewsbury Railway, perhaps. Huge cut and comes straight through here. The bed of the canal would have been here. So certainly no remains left to see on this section. We've nearly reached Newnham now, which is just down the valley there in the distance. We've got this beautiful stretch here of canal once again, but bear in mind, I think this was, well, it certainly was, probably about another, I'm going to stand in it for you, 6 or 7 feet, no, maybe more than that, probably 10 feet lower down than this. even though you can see a beautiful line down there, the key is a portal of a tunnel behind us. We'll show you that in another video. But for the meantime, let's head down to Newnham, and just the other side of Newnham we'll see another gorgeous aqueduct. Another huge walk across fields, marshland, moors, mountains, just to bring you some pretty good content, I feel. Not blowing my own trumpet. But next up we've got another aqueduct. Not sure what state this one's in, but apparently it was blown up to unblock the route underneath it when it became blocked. We'll see what this one's got in store for us. Very close to the Corn Brook. This is sketchy, isn't it, Steve? I'm going to be on my backside again in a minute. Maybe, was there even an I've got a tree. Got a tree. Oh my God. I mean, I got quite a lot of outtakes in this video, Steve. Maybe there was there an aqueduct here? Oh, it goes off steep that side, but not this side. This is a weird. Oh, do you know what, Steve? This isn't.
Is this the canal here?
This isn't an aqueduct. This is a massive embankment with a culvert. This is almost even better. Right, so we've established, we think that is the canal there. Big curve coming round. We're on one of the towpaths. Our other side here, there's a huge embankment and drop. And what we must be able to find at some point on here is a culvert underneath this canal, because there's a stream, the Corn Brook, which comes down here.
Okay, take a look at what is unfolding before us. It looks like a sheer drop. This embankment just stops. Now the reason why there is a sheer drop there, about 50 feet, will help us to unravel this mystery. So it turns out that when the canal was abandoned, well, the whole area to the north of here in the brook filled up with water. The culvert essentially got blocked. Now the railway company just down the valley, well, they were a little bit concerned the embankment was going to go and ruin their railway. So they stuck some dynamite in the culvert here and blew a huge hole in this embankment, leaving it in pretty much the shape that it's in today. You can see the front face of the culvert just there, and of course just the other side, well, there's a monumental hole and a bit of the culvert still left for you to see.
When we first started this video, I think I said to you this was a classic canal in terms of what's left to see, and I expected to show you some abandoned locks and some old infrastructure. I didn't expect to be treated to some of the stuff that we've actually seen today. The aqueducts really here were key on this canal, and I'm calling this an aqueduct, but either way it's a massive embankment for the canal and a huge culvert. Now, 1795, 1796 we had the tunnel collapse, and as ever John Rennie was called in to make his assessment, and he was pretty negative about the well, everything, workmanship, leadership, you name it, on this canal. So he said, well, you need another £150,000 worth of work doing to make the canal usable. And of course, what did the owners say to that? Yeah, let's go. Right, we found the railway we're looking for, which crosses perpendicular. This bit of the railway didn't take the line of the canal, just through here over this sty. So we're on the western side of Tenbury now, over this sty, possibly the most gorgeous canal embankment you'll see. Look at this. So you've got absolutely picture perfect landscape there where the canal curves round, and down here in the field I reckon you've got lots of square shaped indents into the field, and I would imagine that's where they just bored out that earth from that ground there, put it up and made the embankment out of it. But look at this, absolutely picture perfect, and at the end of it is exactly what we're here to see, the aqueduct. I can just about see it. So I've left Steve behind because I'm just so excited about this. Look at this embankment, absolutely stunning. So June 1976 in the British Chronicle. I'm going to read you a snippet from the newspaper. A boat bound for Leominster named the Royal George, built by Mr. Bird of Stourport. Numerous people attended the launch, which took place amid firing of cannon, flag flying, music playing and other demonstrations of joy. Steve, we're going to have a few demonstrations of joy in a minute because we're going to see this aqueduct.
It looks impressive already.
How about that? So the canal opened 1796, albeit very much cut off from any other canal network. Would that be part of its demise? So you've got an initial 3 arches all the way across, and the middle one is completely gone. Roofing's gone, everything's gone. So we remain, I think we've got now 2 arches left either side. What a stunning structure this is. Really epitomises this canal. Mix of bricks, mix of like sandstone type masonry, perhaps. Absolutely good. Walked all this way, found this lovely little visitor's book, Thames Aqueduct, Little Hereford, Herefordshire, Friends of Leominster Canal, signed by loads of people. Reminds me of the geocaching days, and haven't got a pen or pencil on me, so I can't sign it, neither Steve. Now oddly, a year later there was another ceremony on the edge of the River Thames, and a ribbon was cut, and they were celebrating once again the opening of this canal, despite the fact it didn't reach the Thames. And they were celebrating the opening of this canal, and I wonder how much of that was a bit of advertising, a bit of look at us, we've got this canal, come use it, despite the fact it didn't really do what it was intended to do, which was to reach the River Thames.
River Severn.
Severn, sorry, River Severn. I even wrote down the Thames on my notes. So we think this is one of the last most picturesque bits. The canal, as I said, heads down to Leominster itself, and there might be a couple of little bits, but me and Steve have been on the road since 6 AM this morning. It's now 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. It's actually getting a bit dark here in the valley. You can see the hills of Wales in the distance. I think that's Wales, is it? Must be getting on for that direction.
Yeah, it has to be.
Either way, from the banks of the Leominster Canal, the abandoned canal, this video has brought us a lot that we didn't think we were going to see in terms of the infrastructure itself. Not the locks, but more about the aqueducts and the bricks and that kind of slide to it. Thanks for watching. Go subscribe to Steve too, and we'll see you in the next video.